Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this special report. Tonight, we begin with a story that has not only captured the attention of the nation, but has also sent ripples across the globe. People everywhere are glued to their screens, eager to understand the implications of what many are calling a turning point in American history. In a truly historic move, every single state in the Union has fundamentally changed its pistol laws overnight. This sweeping action marks the beginning of a new era in America's complex and often contentious relationship with firearms. The changes are not minor tweaks, but a complete overhaul that affects millions. The December Accord, as it's being called, was announced in simultaneous press conferences across the country. This represents an unprecedented show of legislative unity among all 50 states, something rarely seen in the deeply divided landscape of American politics. For decades, gun control debates have raged in state houses and on Capitol Hill, often pitting neighbor against neighbor and party against party. But now, a remarkable consensus has emerged, not from Washington, but from the states themselves, signaling a dramatic shift in how Americans approach gun policy. The sheer scale of this cooperation has stunned political analysts and sent shockwaves through communities nationwide. Emotions are running high, with some celebrating the move as long overdue, while others express concern and uncertainty about what comes next. Gun shops, law enforcement agencies, and legal experts are now scrambling to interpret the sweeping changes. The new laws affect everything from background checks and waiting periods to carry permits and storage requirements, leaving many with urgent questions. What does this mean for nearly 100 million handgun owners across the country? How will their daily lives and rights be affected by these new regulations? And perhaps most importantly, how will these changes impact public safety, crime rates, and the delicate balance between personal freedom and collective security? Tonight, we break down everything you need to know about this historic development, providing expert analysis, community reactions, and a look ahead at what the future may hold for America's gun laws. To grasp the magnitude of today's changes, let's look back. Pistol regulation in America began with the Second Amendment, but for much of history, laws varied widely by state and locality. The 20th century brought the first major federal laws, like the National Firearms Act of 1934 and the Gun Control Act of 1968, responding to crime and high-profile assassinations. The 1990s saw the Brady Act and a temporary assault weapons ban, but also a surge in state-level laws expanding gun rights. The result was a confusing patchwork. Rights and restrictions changed at every state line. This legal complexity and the challenges it posed for citizens and law enforcement fueled calls for standardization. Out of decades of debate and division, secret negotiations among state leaders led to the December Accord. Tonight, we examine how this historic compromise came to be. So, what's new as of January 1, 2026? The December Accord creates a uniform framework for pistol regulations nationwide. The centerpiece, a national standard for concealed carry permits, recognized in all 50 states. To qualify, applicants must complete a rigorous 16-hour safety proficiency course, 8 hours in the classroom, 8 on the range. The minimum age for permits is now 21 everywhere. All pistol sales, including private ones, require an enhanced background check that reviews local law enforcement and mental health records. A standardized 72-hour waiting period now applies to all pistol purchases. The Accord also defines sensitive places where firearms are always prohibited, such as schools, government buildings, and polling places. States can add to this list, but the core rules are now national. The goal: clear, consistent laws for citizens and law enforcement alike. In the wake of the December Accord, state leaders from across the political spectrum have stepped forward to explain their support and the reasoning behind their decisions. These leaders, representing a diverse range of states and viewpoints, have been vocal in public forums, press conferences, and interviews, aiming to clarify what the new mandates mean for their constituents and the nation as a whole. Texas Governor Sarah Jenkins described the agreement as a significant victory for both gun rights advocates and those who value responsible freedom. She emphasized that the new mandates not only protect Second Amendment rights, but also introduce a higher standard for safety, with national recognition of permits and more rigorous training requirements. Jenkins highlighted that Texans can now travel more freely with their permits, while also ensuring that only qualified individuals are granted these privileges. On the other side of the spectrum, California Governor Marcus Thorne praised the universal background checks and mandatory training, calling these measures a major win for public safety. Thorne acknowledged that the compromise on permit reciprocity was a difficult concession, but he stressed that the overall package would lead to fewer loopholes and a more consistent approach to gun ownership across the country. A recurring theme has been bipartisan cooperation. Governors from Ohio and Michigan, for example, have repeatedly emphasized the collaborative, state-driven nature of the agreement. They pointed out that the accord was shaped by input from both major parties, law enforcement, and community leaders, making it a true reflection of national consensus. With the mandates now in place, state officials are turning their attention to implementation. State police and DMVs are actively issuing new permits, certifying instructors, and launching comprehensive public information campaigns to ensure that citizens understand the changes. Training sessions for both officials and the public are being rolled out to address questions and concerns. Colonel Ramirez of the Florida Highway Patrol has publicly assured citizens that the necessary systems and infrastructure are ready for the transition. He emphasized that law enforcement agencies have been preparing for months, updating databases and coordinating with other states to ensure a seamless process. Gun shops and training facilities across the country are being briefed on the new requirements. Staff are receiving updated guidelines, and instructors are adapting their courses to meet the higher standards. This ensures that everyone involved in the process is on the same page, and that compliance is as straightforward as possible. The top priority for all involved is a smooth rollout and clear, transparent communication to the public. Officials are holding information sessions, distributing pamphlets, and making themselves available to answer questions, all to minimize confusion and help citizens adapt to the new rules. Ultimately, the December Accord is being held up as a model for bipartisan problem-solving. Leaders from both parties are celebrating the agreement as proof that, even on contentious issues, meaningful progress is possible when states work together for the common good. The December Accord has upended political alliances and sparked fierce debate. In Washington, lawmakers were caught off guard, with both parties now facing internal divisions. Some gun rights advocates decry the new requirements as infringements, while some gun control groups worry about national reciprocity. The compromise has left the most polarized voices on both sides dissatisfied. The accord is set to be a major issue in the 2026 midterms, forcing candidates to address a newly defined political center. Legal scholars debate whether this is a triumph of states' rights or a challenge to federal authority. One thing is clear: the political landscape around firearms has been permanently redrawn. The December Accord is already reshaping the firearms industry and beyond. Gun manufacturers anticipate more first-time buyers, but stricter training and waiting periods may slow sales. The biggest boom is in firearms training. Demand for certified instructors and courses has skyrocketed, creating new jobs and businesses. Gun shops are adapting to new paperwork and background check requirements, but appreciate the clarity of uniform rules. Insurance companies are rolling out new liability policies for concealed carriers. Tech firms are developing apps for training and legal updates. Even the travel industry is watching, as national reciprocity could influence vacation choices. The economic ripple effects are just beginning. For millions, the December Accord brings both new freedoms and new responsibilities. Gun owners can now carry across state lines with a standardized permit, but must complete a rigorous training course. Some welcome the chance to improve their skills, others see it as a costly burden. Non-gun owners, especially in cities with strict laws, worry about more firearms in public spaces. The accord forces a national conversation about personal responsibility and public safety. Proponents hope better training will reduce accidents and improve understanding of self-defense laws. The coming months will test whether this unified approach delivers on its promises. Americans everywhere are adjusting to a new legal landscape. Legal and security experts across the country are closely watching the December Accord's rollout, recognizing it as a pivotal moment in American legislative history. The Accord, which has sparked intense debate in both legal and public circles, is being analyzed for its potential to reshape the landscape of gun rights and responsibilities. Dr. Anya Sharma, a respected constitutional law professor, calls it the most significant Second Amendment development since the landmark Heller decision. She believes the accord could clarify legal standards and potentially reduce the volume of future litigation, as courts and lawmakers adjust to the new framework. According to Dr. Sharma, this clarity might help both gun owners and regulators better understand their rights and obligations. Security consultant Ben Carter adds that mandatory training requirements could lead to real improvements in public safety, provided the training is of high quality and applied consistently nationwide. Carter emphasizes that effective education on firearm safety could prevent accidents and misuse, but warns that poorly implemented programs might have little impact. Sociologist Dr. David Chen sees the accord as a rare model for resolving deeply polarized issues. He points out that the agreement demonstrates compromise is possible, even on topics as contentious as gun policy. Dr. Chen hopes this spirit of cooperation could inspire solutions in other areas of national debate, but not all are optimistic about the accord's prospects. Some community members and experts remain skeptical, voicing concerns about unintended consequences and the challenges of enforcing new regulations. Criminologist Dr. Maria Flores warns that standardization isn't a cure-all. She notes that waiting periods may not deter determined attackers, and that national reciprocity could create new challenges for urban law enforcement agencies already stretched thin. Dr. Flores stresses the importance of local context in crafting effective policy. Despite differing opinions, experts agree on one thing: rigorous, transparent data collection will be crucial to measure the accord's real impact. Only by tracking outcomes over time can policymakers know what's working and what needs adjustment. The next few years will be a critical test, as the nation watches to see whether this grand experiment in compromise and reform will succeed or fall short of its ambitious goals. Across the country, American families and communities are tuning in, eager to see how these changes will affect their daily lives and the broader national conversation. The future of American gun policy may well depend on what happens next, as lawmakers, citizens, and experts alike navigate this new chapter together. As this new era begins, education is key. State governments are launching awareness campaigns, and citizens must learn the new rules. Gun owners seeking to carry across state lines need to complete the new training and obtain the standardized permit. Lawmakers and agencies must ensure high-quality training and efficient background checks, while collecting data to evaluate the accord's success. This story proves that even on divisive issues, compromise and dialogue can lead to real change. The world is watching to see if this agreement holds. We encourage you to get informed, discuss these changes, and share your thoughts below. For continued coverage, subscribe to our channel. Good night.